few people have asked me how I've set up my optical character recognition and stats programs. So what I'm going to do is quickly run through that. I've got two OBSs open, so I'm recording one OBS with the other, so some of the software might be a bit buggy, but we'll just see how that goes. Alright, so there's two programs involved. The first one is an OCR program. So OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition, which basically means it takes a picture from the screen and converts it from an image to text. So the first program we're going to get is a program called NES Tetris OCR, which I wrote. So you go to this URL, which I'll put in the description, you hit clone or download, and download the zip. So I'm just going to download that up, and that's going to download somewhere. There's instructions on this page. I'm going to quickly run through them. So first you've got to download this Python. Python is just an executable that runs code. Let me go find my Python executable installer. Actually, I think I want 32-bit. Yeah, okay. So just make sure you get the 32-bit version. I'm pretty sure 64 will work, but anyway. So it's this one here, x86 is 32-bit. I'm going to cancel the other one, and we're going to download that. Alright, so while that's downloading, we're going to grab this folder. Let's grab it. Let's just OCR master. I put this in, I'm going to make a new folder. So unzip it. Probably rename it something easy to type. And wait, I haven't installed Python yet. Okay, so install it. Install Python. So what I would do is not install to the default directory. I would customize it, and also you want to tick this box, add Python to path. So I'm going to tick that box, customize, all this good stuff, and then you hit next, and then change this directory. Associate this, add that. You can tick that box, that just makes it run faster. Usually I would install this to C/Python version and then 32-bit. You can install anywhere, but I recommend a directory like that. And then you hit install and uninstall, but I've already done that. After that, you can test if it's working by running command prompt, which is CMD. And if you type in Python, you get something like that where it tells you which version. So I've got a different version installed, and yeah. If you type Python and nothing happens, so say I'm just going to type some other thing, it'll be like it doesn't recognize it. I typed it wrong there, but like if you haven't installed it properly, then when you type in Python, it won't open up Python. So this is Python, it's a command thing where you can like do stuff. Okay. Anyway, so we've installed Python, and let's just follow the instructions on this page. So we got to open a command prompt. So hit your Windows key, CMD, this command prompt here. Open that. And now if you type in these commands, I'm just going to paste them. Pillow. Mine's already installed, so it doesn't do anything, but it'll download and say that it's installing. If it gives you an error message, then you should figure out what's wrong. So this is already installed as well because I've already got it installed. And then there's some instructions to check if it's to verify that you've installed it. So what you can do is if you type Python, it opens this program, and you can type in that. Nothing happened, which means it worked. If it didn't work, so say I try and so Pillow and PyPy Win32 are like extensions for Python. If you like didn't install it properly and you tried to import them, so say like I try and use an extension that I don't have, so let's try and import extension I don't have, it gives you an error message. So when I type import PIL, which is Pillow, and there's like no message, that means I actually installed it correctly. Okay, So those things are installed. So finish that section. Now running. So you just run screencap.py, which is screencap.py, this file here. Now, before you run it, we want to actually calibrate it. So what we actually need to do is use a text editor to edit two files. So there's calibration.py and screencap.py. So I'm going to edit that in a text editor. I'm using Notepad++, but you can use whatever, and screencap.py. So we'll start with screencap.py. Change this string where it says, scroll down, find calibration, set that to true. When that's true, it'll give you the calibration mode. When it's false, it'll do the OCR mode. So you just set that to true, you leave everything else the same, and you go to calibration.py. This is where your actual calibration occurs. Window name is the Windows window name, what it starts with. So here it says OBS, so it'll pick up this OBS 23 blah blah blah, NES Tetris. I actually have two of these windows open, so this might be potentially bad, but let's just try it. Let me just run that. So I'm going to open this, and I'm going to double click on screencap.py. That didn't work, because why is my calibration equals true? Oh, it's the wrong one, sorry. I need to edit screencap.py, sorry. So here calibration is false, I'm saying that's true. And now I'm going to run it. So yeah, because calibration mode is true, what it's done is it's taken a screenshot of this section over here on the right, and it overlays what it thinks is the line score level statistics window. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you an incorrect configuration. So say you're starting from scratch and these numbers are all wrong. So 0, 0. Usually the only thing you have to configure is window name and capture coords. So let's do like try and run it with the wrong numbers. Okay, so when I run it, you get that, something like that. So you can see that it's captured my OBS window up here, and the areas that are highlighted are clearly wrong, right? So what we need to do is let's close that, is set this calibration to the correct capture coordinates. So the way it works is, see where my mouse cursor is? This top left corner here underneath the title bar is 0, 0, and then use pixel coordinates down to the bottom, which is like roughly your screen height. So before you calibrate this stuff, this is based on the actual window, oh, I shouldn't have rescaled that, window size. So if you do that, then these numbers are going to change. So the easiest way to make this always stay the same is you hold down the Windows key and you press the right arrow. So now it's going to stick to the right hand side of the screen, and it's always going to be exactly the same size. The other thing is we don't want to resize this bottom bar up and down, because this will make this image shift. So if I do this, this image is shifting, but we want it to always be in the same spot. So yeah, I'm gonna now show you how to get the correct coordinates. So easiest way is to just take a screenshot of your screen. So I'm going to press print screen. Whoops, print screen is that button. No, it's not. Print screen is that button. And open Paint. And now I've got Paint open. Grab this area from the top right and crop it out. Cool. Now you can find the pixel coordinates of your actual full window. So if I go like that and select it, you'll see in the bottom left, I'm using paint.net, but you could use Photoshop or whatever, just a program that tells you which pixels you have selected. So here I have bounding rectangle size 884829 and selection top left 37683. So I go back to this file, and the format for these rectangles is top left, left X, top Y, width, height. So using this image, where this is 0, 0, and this is like the height of the window and the width of the window, and selecting this, we get top left like coordinate, which is that. So we can type in that exact number, 376.84, and then the size of the rectangle, so 879.827. 879.827. I'm going to save that. Cool. And close that. Alright, so I've put in these numbers that I just got in, and now I'm going to run it again. And now it's calibrated correctly. So the rest of these are based on percentages, so ideally these shouldn't have to ever change. If your screen capture is missing the top line or bottom line or something, you might have to adjust these values. So these are in percentages. It's basically, again, X left, Y top, and then width and height as a percentage of this entire image, where the entire image is like your game screen. So, for example, if I change this thing, this changes the height of how big score is. So say like I change that to exactly double, this red rectangle is going to be twice as high. So let's run that. Oh, sorry, score is exactly twice as high, you can see there. So I'm going to set back to 32. And then just run it again. I've lost my window, sorry. OCR. Screen cap. So that's correct. Let's say that these numbers are like really out of whack and you want to calibrate from scratch. Sure. Copy this image. Well, I'm just going to screenshot this. Open it in Paint. Grab this full image like that. Crop it so you got the thing. Resize it to 1000 by 1000. It doesn't have to be, the aspect ratio doesn't matter as long as you just use 1000 by 1000. And then now if you select this area like that, because you've done it by 1000 by 1000, these numbers are just percentages. So see that says 591, 95, 96, 34. You can go back to this text file, and that will be, oh wait, sorry, lines per is there. 591, 591, 94, this is 95, it's close enough, and then size is 96 by 34, right? So that's just a percentage. You want this to be like as pixel perfect as possible, so like bounding box like that. You don't want it to be overly big like that, because that'll screw up the OCR, because the OCR actually depends on it being exactly like tight. Alright, so you've done this calibration step, all these numbers are correct. Go back to screencap.py and turn calibration to false. Now it's not in calibration mode, it's in running mode. Let me just close all my Pythons. And let's run it. Alright, so now you see it's spitting out the score lines and level. So the score lines level. Then quickly give it a little play and see if it works. It should be pretty good. Let's just quickly score a couple of lines. Not get droughted during the demo. Delicious. Okay, here we go. And you can see that over here, these numbers match these numbers. Okay, so that's how you know it's working. So okay, that works. Cool. Now what can I do with this information? Okay, before I go to that, let's go through common like troubleshooting things. If you run this and the numbers seem to not be that accurate, it's probably because when it's capturing your screen, your colors aren't quite right. So it's really important that this black area here is actually black and the white here is as close to white as possible. So what do I mean by that? Okay, take a screenshot and open it in Paint. Now I'm just going to quickly just show you how to calibrate. Okay. What you want to do is get the color picker tool and grab this black and look at the actual values. This should be as close to 000 as possible. So say this is actually 000. And when you click this white area, it should be like as close to 255, 255, 255 as possible. Right? So that means it's actually white. Sometimes there's capture cards that have the wrong brightness and contrast. So say it looks something like that. Now when I grab this image, that's not black. When you're looking at it, it looks black. Let me just do something that's a bit less obvious. Something like that. See? That image actually looks fine to your eye. But when you grab this, that says 15, that's not 0. This is 200, which is not 255, right? So you actually want to make sure that these are correct. And white should be white, which is 255, 255, 255, and black should be black, which is 000. The way you do that is you grab this source and you hit filters, and you add a color correction filter, and you adjust the contrast and brightness. See, when I adjust that, it corrects the image, right? What you do is you adjust it, then you take a screenshot, grab the RGB values and make sure they're correct. Notice that when I adjust this, what did I do a second ago? See? When I'm color correcting this, dragging the brightness down, as soon as I drag it too low, this OCR over here is like, nope, I can't figure out what number you are, because it's really relying on this text to actually be white. Even though visually this looks like white, the RGB values are not white. So here it says, nope, that's like you got nothing. There's no lines and you got no score. But as soon as I bump it up enough, it's like, oh, that's correct. Conversely, if your contrast is really shit like that, look what happens. It just gives you 8s because it's assuming that your text is like all white, right? So let me just remove that. This is actually like I color corrected this before. Okay, so we've done this step and we've got the optical character recognition working. Cool. So now we can be certain that we have a program that actually, you know, converts your text from your screen to some usable form. But we haven't actually done anything with it yet. It's just like telling us what the text is, right? So there's another program that I've written that this program, which is the OCR, the optical character recognition program, talks to another program which collates all the data and turns it into something useful. So let's go download that. So the next program is, I think it's like, NES Stats Viz. So if you go to this URL here and go to release, this is the last time I built it as an exe. This one you just have to download it and configure it a little bit and run it. So let's do that. So I'm going to download this. $19 megabytes, that won't take too long. Doing some tea. Delicious. And let's put it in this OCR folder. So I'm going to unzip it. Oh, okay. Let me just do that again because that was pretty shit. Let's unzip that. And it ends up in this folder. I'm just going to rename it quickly. Alright, so there's this executable. Before we run it, we want to go inside data, streaming assets, config.any, and we want to edit this config so that it's correct. So open that. Now, you can leave that the same, leave that the same, leave that the same. Where it says Python, you need to point this to where you installed Python. So remember how I said just install it to C drive? So C, Python, and you want to find this Python exe, right? So if you look at this directory, C Python 37-32 / python.exe. So here I'm just changing that to correct it. Working directory, this is where your Python script is. So I'm going to go back to here, OCR, this thing, this directory here. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to put it in here. And then Python script is your screencap.py file. So that's this file here. So same directory / screencap.py. And this is important because this executable will actually automatically start this Python script for you. Alright, another thing is your slashes have to be the correct way. This is the correct way, this is not the correct way. So I'm going to quickly replace them. Wrong way, correct way, replace all. Done. Next is you have a data folder. So this is where it's going to save everything. And I'm going to put it in C, OCR, data. And the file is going to be called that. Cool. Also, this folder doesn't exist, so I'm going to make a folder. Cool. So now we've got C OCR data, C OCR data. Cool. Alright, finally, let's run this. So, if we go to StatsViz, you don't need to touch this OCR folder anymore once you're set up. Run this, run StatsViz, starts up. Just allow network access because it's accessing this other program. This program automatically opens up the Python executable, so you see that just open up by itself. If you close it, it automatically reopens after like I think 5 seconds. Is it going to open? 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, not opening. No, not going to open. Oh, okay, let's just start that again. That should actually open. I don't know why it didn't. Yeah, so that opened. When does I close it? It must be one of these settings. Let's auto restart time. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like something like that. Just restart that. I found a bug in my code. Alright. Okay, start it up, close it. Weird. Should start again. I don't know why it didn't. Anyway, so you start this up. And this starts up. And then this Python executable talks to this, so these talk to each other. And it writes data to this folder. So we've got to play some games first, so we can actually do that. So I'm just killing myself a few times. So that's written one game. Can play some level 18. Clear some lines. Alright, so I just played 3 games and you can see that it's got stats there. For this window, you can actually use this window straight in your feed, so just do a window capture and put it there, which is what I've already done. If you press spacebar, it goes to the next slide. I've done a window capture so you just mask out that green area so that players can't see it. If you press P, this pauses and it stays on the same slide. So say you want to just always show, which screen is it? Line stats. Whoop. Say you just always want to show that screen, you can just hit P and it'll pause permanently. If you press P again, it unpauses. So I think it changes like every 8 seconds-ish. Also, once you hit transition, it just stays on that line screen until you die. Just so, because you know, after transition, you're hype and you want to max out. Automatically tracks your high scores. Shows your lifetime stats, how many lines you've cleared. All that sort of jazz. So every time you complete a game, it doesn't actually save until you start another one. So say you just like got a PB, don't turn your NES off and don't turn your stream off, just start an empty game and reset. That'll actually save it to file, and it stores it in game_stats.txt, which is where we directed it. Remember how we set the folder up? And it's literally just a comma separated file, so you can open this in Excel. So it's got like score, start level, I can't remember the exact format, start time, end time, how long the game was, it's like how many lines you cleared, what your Tetris percent was, something like that. So what you can do is, after you've collected like, you know, thousands of games, which is what I've done, let me just open up my file, which I have previously generated, data here. So I can open it and say Excel. Oh, I don't have Excel. I do have Excel. I'm going to open Excel and open my data. Does that work? Sure. Cool. I think I have to do like data split. Blah blah blah. Text to columns, delimited, comma. There you go. Finish. Oh, I have to do that to everything. Text to columns. Text to columns. There you go. Delimited. Next. Comma, next, finish. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Let me just delete that first one because I screwed that up. So this is, delete that as well. Okay, this is the my game stats since the 2nd of February. Oh, sorry, 9th of February until now. So there's like 4 months of data, and this is every every single game I've ever played. Game length like 30 seconds. Start level. There's probably lines cleared. Nope. Soft drop points. I'm not sure. One of them is lines cleared and stuff. Well, but what we can do is you can in Excel you just use it like Excel, right? So say this is scores, so I could filter. Let's say I only want every score greater than 100,000. Cool. Next, say I only want like level 18 starts. Boom. And say, okay, that's enough. And say maybe I want games where I got pass transition, right? So yeah, this is lines cleared. Blah, 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 number filters greater than 130. Sure. So now this is all my transition games. So you see my lowest transition game recorded was 455k. Oh wait, no, it's not sorted. Cool. So let's just sort that. Oh wait, no, let's not sort it. Let's just graph it. So here I can, for example, grab this column and can I move it? Huh. So no, that's not gonna work. Let's just graph this one. Graph. Insert. Graph. I think there's a plot. Points. Is there a charts dot dot dot? Scatter, here you go. So that's like all my scores. The bottom axis is just like game number, I think. So that's all my scores, right? So you can see here I got like an 800k, 850, almost 900, barely 900, and then all this like area in here where it's roughly 500k average, right? So you can do whatever you want because it's Excel. So if you're good at Excel, you can make charts, but that's just a brief description of what you can do. I'm not going to save that. Nope, don't save that. Cool. So hopefully this video explained how roughly to set this stuff up. And yeah, hope that helps. Yeah, so after that, just make a shortcut on your desktop to NES Tetris Stats Viz and then just run that every time. And make sure that this window is always use your Windows and arrows keys to make sure it's always locked to the correct side. Well, it just has to be the same side, so if it's on left or right, it doesn't matter. But if you do like that, the OCR's not going to pick up exactly the same areas anymore. So I just lock it to the side like that. I think if you've got like stuff over the numbers, it's not going to detect it. So if I put my mouse like that and it takes a screenshot, it might stuff up. I can't actually remember. You can put stuff over the top actually. If you do that, it'll still work because the screen capture method I'm using actually grabs the screen data. But if you minimize it like that, it won't work anymore. It has to be open. It can be covered, but it has to be open for the screen capture to work.